Welcome to Brooker Bonsai, and today we're going to be doing an air layer on my Japanese Acer. I've had this tree for probably about 5 years now, and it's starting to build a really nice nabari and trunk. The one thing it doesn't quite have is a lot of taper at this stage, so what I've been doing is air layering branches off the top to help build that taper and ramification on the main tree. Also has the added benefit of creating smaller other little Japanese Acers that I can then continue to care for. So here's one of the air layers that I took off about a year ago, 2 years ago, and you can see it's well established. It hasn't built up a lot of ramification yet, but it's early days for this tree. So you can see how just taking an air layer off a tree like this, you can get some really nice, interesting bonsai. So let's zoom you in and take a 360 view look at the tree now. Here's the front of the tree, and this is the branch that I'm going to be air layering off today. Coming around to the side, you see we've got a really nice nabari starting to form. To the back of the tree, the roots aren't as nice at the back. We've got kind of some ugly ones here, but that's fine. Coming around to the side of the tree, and back round to the front. So for this air layer we'll need some sphagnum moss and also some raffia, as well as a plastic bag. I do have these air layer pods which you put on the tree, and then you kind of clamp it around the tree. But the branch that I'm air layering off at the moment, there's so much ramification in there that I wouldn't be able to get one of those inside. Later in the year I will be doing one to a privet, so you'll see how we use those air layer pods for a tree like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is come in and just prune back some of these branches in here, just so I can see what I'm doing and get better access to the branch. So next I'm going to come in with my knife and I'm just going to score a ring around the branch. I'll zoom you in so you can take a look at that now. So you can see here, this is the branch that we're going to be air layering off. It's got some really nice ramification and it'll make a really nice little bonsai. So I actually have on this main branch here a shoot that started to extend, so I want to try and keep this because this will become my new leader. So I'm just going to start by ringing the tree, and what I'm doing here is I'm cutting into the cadmium layer, and that just disrupts the sap flow heading up the tree. The leaves are still able to get water through the wood, as they draw that up through the roots. So the leaves stay nice and healthy, but all the sugars that are kind of coming from the leaves down don't have anywhere to go. And over time, this builds up loads of energy in the tree, and then you'll find that roots, if this area is damp, roots will start forming from that cut point. And they'll grow into the moss that we'll be placing around it now. Japanese acers or maples, they grow roots really well. So I've a lot of confidence that by the end of the year, this whole air layer will just be full of roots. So you can see here, I've kind of taken off the bark with the cadmium layer. It's come off really clean, but I'm just going to scrape my thumbnail around it, or the knife blade, just in case there's any fibres that are running from the branch, because if there is a connection there, the tree will try and heal that bridge and I won't get any roots there forming. So just scraping all that back to make sure that we've got everything. We've got a really nice clean cut as well. So the next step is to pack this area with sphagnum moss. We need to be careful we don't shade out this branch here below. If we lose it, it's not a problem. So I'm just going to take some of this sphagnum moss, probably about this much. We're not going to need a lot, and I'm just going to soak it in the water. Maybe a little bit more, to be safe. I'm going to leave that for a couple of minutes so that the moss hydrates, and then we'll come back and we'll stick it onto the tree. So next we're going to make up some root powder and apply it to the cut point that we've just made there. This comes powdered, so we want to just add a little bit of water to it to hydrate it. So for this we want to be making a paste. We don't want it too runny. Something like that works fine. See here, I'm just going to apply this paste to the root, to the underside here. And this will just help encourage roots growth on the maple. Make sure that we've got it all covered all the way around, like that. So next I'm just going to drain out the water from the sphagnum moss, and I'm going to mix the rest of that cut paste into the moss, just to help encourage, because we've got some spare root growth. So you see, I've just applied it like that. So what I'm going to do now is apply the sphagnum moss around the cut like that, and then with some raffia I'm going to wrap all the moss and attach it firmly to the trunk. I have to be careful that I don't get that branch stuck in there and end up killing off the branch that I want to keep. If the branch does die, the maple's backbud really easily, so it'll look a bit silly for a while, but it'll be fine in no time. Okay, so that's the moss now attached to the tree. The final step is to wrap the moss in plastic so that it stays moist and it doesn't dry out. For this I'm just going to use like a bin liner. So starting at the bottom, just going to wrap it gently. and to make sure to leave the top kind of semi-exposed, and this will allow the water to run down into it and then also out the bottom, so that the roots can be watered but also don't stay too wet. Test it drains properly by just pouring a bit of water through it. And I can see it's coming out the bottom, so that works fine. So that's the air layer now on the Japanese Acer, all completed. I'll leave that until end of summer, early autumn, and I'll come back and I'll take a look at the tree. If it's full of roots, I may decide to kind of cut the branch off and put it in a pot and leave it indoors over winter in a nice cool area. If the roots are still developing, then I might leave it another year in there. I'm keen to get this branch off as quickly as I can so that I can get more light down to the leader at the bottom there and begin building the top of the tree canopy. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you for watching. Give us a like and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you're new to the channel, welcome. There's a subscribe button in the corner of the screen there, and look forward to seeing you in the next one.